My name's Davey, and I've lived in Calgary my entire life. I've been taking photos here for the past 10 years, and today I'm going to show you some of my favorite spots that I enjoy taking photos. If you're flying into Calgary, you'll be flying into YYC, the Calgary International Airport. There's a whole bunch of different ways to get where you're going. Ideally, a friend or your host can pick you up, but if not, you can rent a car, a Turo, catch a taxi, an Uber, or take the bus. We're in downtown Calgary, and this is technically called the commercial section of downtown. This is where all the tall office buildings are, and there's usually lots of traffic and people walking around, and this is my usual go-to spot to take photos. I've had success shooting here at all times of the day. I've found that tall office buildings provide interesting shadows and pockets of light. Stephen Ave is a walking-only street, and it's usually full during lunchtime with business people grabbing food, sitting on patios, or walking to appointments. The street has a great assortment of new and old buildings, as well as these really cool structures which I believe diffuse the wind, because I believe this passage could easily be a wind tunnel. Another notable building and sculpture you probably recognize is the Bow Building, and you probably recognize it from the big wire head right here, which this truck is in front of. Hold on a sec. Okay, there it is. This building is beautiful and maybe one of the most photographed buildings in the entire area. This is private property, and there is usually security watching from inside the building to make sure that nobody's climbing on the sculpture or damaging it. They're not a fan of large camera setups and will kick you out if it looks like you're filming a movie, so just be respectful if you're taking photos or videos here. That's why I'm on this side of the street, so I just don't have to deal with those guys. There's a pack of seagulls fighting behind me. Another notable location is Olympic Plaza. In the winter, this area that I'm standing on turns into a skating rink, and there's a massive Christmas tree that's put in the middle, and you can skate around it. These seagulls are out of control. In the summer, concerts are held here and various other pop-ups. If you are going to be visiting this downtown commercial core, I don't necessarily recommend driving or parking your car around here unless you're in a hotel that has a parking garage, because if you're parking on the street, you may not be able to interpret the signs about when you can park and where you can park, and you'll likely be paying a fortune. Most places downtown can be accessed by walking, which I think is the easiest way to get around, or there's a train that runs through the middle of downtown, and all the stops are part of something called the Fare Free Zone, which means that you can actually ride for free. So if you start or end your trip outside this zone, you do need to pay before you get on the train. The buses and trains are both part of Calgary Transit. That means that if you have a ticket for a bus or a train, you can transfer between buses and trains for 90 minutes after you purchase your ticket. Alberta has Uber if you're looking to be driven around, but there's also the option to use these scooters if you're commuting anywhere inner city. In the warmer months, you're going to find them almost anywhere downtown. You just look for the QR code, download the app, and you're good to go. On the east side of downtown, we have the appropriately named East Village. This is an area where a whole bunch of brand new condos, apartments, and businesses are going in. There's also a grocery store, an inner city basketball court, and in my opinion, one of the most beautiful buildings in the whole city, the Calgary Central Library. Inside and out, this building is insane. There's 4 floors to explore, and I'm confident there's something cool for everybody inside and out to shoot. Or if you're into books, I guess you could read those too. The building is private property, and they're happy when people bring their cameras to take photos, but leave your tripods, lights, and large setups at home. Remember, this is a library. The next spot I recommend is a place called Platform, and it's right across the street from the library. You can't miss it. It's a multi-use building, but primarily it's a parking garage for the neighborhood. It's beautifully designed and a great place to explore, and the top floor has a spot that's specifically designated for people to take photographs, so you don't have to worry about anybody getting in your way or having to dodge any vehicles. And if you're going to take photos up here, I wouldn't recommend coming when the sun is this harsh. It doesn't look amazing. I would come when the light is a little bit lower, a little bit softer, probably sunrise or sunset. Studio Bell, home of the National Music Center, is a museum and performing arts center. The inside has a unique design, and even if you don't go through the whole museum, it's definitely worth popping your head in to see what the lobby looks like. East Village has a large population of unhoused people, so keep that in mind as you're walking around the neighborhood. The Bow River flows on the north side of downtown, and I think it's well worth taking the time to walk along it. You get great views of the city skyline and even pass by Princess Island Park. On the west end of the Riverwalk is the iconic Peace Bridge. Today, it's under construction, but when it's not, it's an awesome place to take photos. So maybe cafes and rural streets are more of your thing? Well, that's where the Beltline is great. So if you travel just south of the big tall buildings of downtown, you're in the Beltline. It's known for its restaurants, apartments, shopping, cafes, and bookstores. Some of my favorite places here to shoot are inside, and you'll need to do some of your own exploring to find some cool bookstores or cafes. There's also a lot of quiet tree-lined street areas to explore. Also in the Beltline, you're going to find a ton of murals, and you're not going to have to look that hard to find them. There's over 127 artists with paintings around the city, and each year dozens more are added. This includes the world's tallest mural, painted by Dame, stretching 310 meters in the air. If you want to visit a few, or all of them, the YYC Bump website is amazing, and it will provide you with information on each artist and what their piece looks like, and where you can find it in the city. Some of the most iconic photos of Calgary you're going to get are going to be outside of the downtown core, shooting towards the Calgary skyline. Almost any direction you go outside of the downtown core, you're going to find a hill with a great view of the city. Crescent Heights Hill and Rotary Park are on the north side of downtown, and you're going to get some of the best views of the city skyline, in my opinion. And if you're looking for somewhere to take somebody on a first date, I think you found the perfect spot. Center Street is right nearby, and I've actually taken some of my favorite shots on or near this road. East of here is a community called Bridgeland and another hill/dog park called Tom Campbell Hill. This dog park might actually have the nicest view of the entire city. Continuing east, we've got Scotsman's Hill, which has really good views of downtown, the Saddle Dome, and if it's a clear day, you can see the mountains to the west. And if you're lucky, you'll probably bump into a limo full of students getting their grad photos done. I recommend visiting all these hills during sunset or sunrise for the best light. There's plenty more areas to explore in the city that I didn't mention, but these are some of my favorites. If you're looking for all of the spots in one place, I've created a Google map. You can find it in the description of this video, and it is completely free. Thanks for sticking around, and if you're ever visiting Calgary, would love it if you drop me a line. And if you're looking for inspiration of what to shoot, you can check me out on Instagram at Davey Gravy. We'll see you in the next one.